Wait, Pokemon TCG Pocket is releasing on October 30th for the rest of the world? Well, guess what? I have had the benefit of playing since the game came out about a month ago in New Zealand, and I have a ton of different things I want to teach you guys about the game. So buckle up. This is going to be a fun video. About 20% of you guys are subscribed, but that means about 80% of viewers aren't. So make sure you subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let's go ahead and dive in. Today, we're going to talk about a ton of different things, like first and foremost, what I think this game's primary focus is as of right now. Is it a collection game? Is it a PvP game? How does the gameplay look in this game? Like, what does it function like? We're also going to talk about which packs you guys should choose, how things look when you start the game, at what point should you decide to re-roll, and the pack points, whether those transfer over. We're going to talk about the Wonder Picks, best Pokemon to kind of look for, and how Wonder Picks work, thanks, and a bunch of other things. So first things first, like I said, gameplay slash is it a collection based game? So I think right now it's like 75-25 in my opinion. You maybe disagree. I think 75%, 25%, but the 75 is going to collection. And I think that this game is meant to be something that you kind of just log in, and you'll see why in a minute. It's something you kind of just log in, do your pulls, maybe play a couple of matches as well, and kind of just log out for the rest of the day. Here's a really cool collection somebody posted here with some awesome stuff. Hey, oh my god, the Mewtwo, look at that. Oh, that's so good. Oh man. So basically what you can do is you can open some packs and you can put your collection on display there. You can also do other fun things, like you can create your own individual binder. You can put some of your favorite Pokemon cards in display boards. And here's a look at my Charizard. I put him right there with the crown rare Charizard. You can also access the display boards quickly from the home screen right here and just kind of show your stuff and see what you have. So that's one of the things that I think this game primarily is based on. Also, this game will in the future have trading. I don't really know how they're going to balance that or how that's going to look, because otherwise, what's going to stop you from just creating another account and just transferring over all the good stuff to build your favorite decks and then hop into gameplay or complete your collection, right? Every time a new I'll call it a gacha because this is a gacha game. Every time a new gacha releases with new Pokemon cards in it, what's going to stop you from just infinite re-rolling on a new account and then transferring it over? How will they balance this? Will accounts need to be a certain level? I think that's a pretty safe bet, like level 20 or something. I don't know. By the way, max current level I think is 50, just if you're wondering, as a side. But yeah, the game will have trading at some point, and it's, again, very hard to do this and balance it in a certain way when gacha games have that, because they don't really get it often as a result. So anyway, moving on from that, let's talk about the gachas. Well, okay, we actually need to backtrack. I meant to talk about the battles. I'm not going to jump into a battle, but let me just explain it to you. They basically Marvel Snapified the Pokemon game. So this is how it looks. So you've got 20 cards in your deck, I believe. You can only have 2 copies of each individual card in your deck, the same name cards. There are different art versions, of course, but the same name card, you can only have 2 copies of it in your deck. And then on top of that, when you go into battle, it's first to 3 points. Defeating an EX Pokemon will give you 2 points, of course, but first to 3. So it's basically, there's 1 active Pokemon, 3 rested spots or bench spots, and the rest of it's largely the same as a regular TCG game. But the thing is that since it's a first to 3 scale and that the game is kind of quicker paced, in my opinion, Pokemon like Marowak EX, who he has an effect where you flip a coin twice, depending on how many heads you get, he can do 80 damage. So he can do 0, he can do 80, he can do 160, you know, but he's going to wind up one-shotting a large majority of the game with 160. There's other Pokemon like Starmie, there's Executor, there's Pokemon that get a lot of damage out quickly. Those types of Pokemon, in my opinion, are typically the best, but you can find success with largely anything, depending on what you're going for, and then also your matchup, right? Because elemental advantage and stuff like that does matter, right? So that's largely also the Pokemon you should be looking for, or the meta, the way that the game functions, etc. Now, let's talk about the gacha. So when you guys first boot up the game will be presenting you with an option of one of these 3 packs. I'm going to explain a little bit more about that in a moment. But the first thing you need to know, if you're somebody that only does like real life pack openings, just because these all say Genetic Apex and they're from the same set, quote unquote, technically, that's not really the case here. Cards are separated. You cannot pull a Pikachu on the Charizard banner and whatever other cards are exclusive. Like, it's not just the primary card here. They've got Venusaur only here. They've got Gardevoir only here. You're not going to pull those over here. Same deal. So you have to focus on multiple areas. You can't just say, I'm going to only pull on 1 pack. Now, the benefit to pulling on 1 pack specifically is that you can hone in on a specific card if you're looking for it. Obviously, a specific version of a card, like which rarity or alt art or whatever it is, right? You can hone in on that, and maybe you can find some of the cards you need for your deck. Now, quick tip on the deck thing. There are some decks that require cards from multiple packs. They're not always going to be all in one pack, so that's kind of another thing about it. But you can actually use pack points. So every time you open packs, you get pack points. And with the pack points, you can come over here and exchange for a card. Literally any card available in the game currently with this set, the Genetic Apex set. Doesn't matter what the rarity is. If you have enough pack points, up to 2,500, you can exchange for a copy of it. Now, quick tip on this. When the Genetic Apex, I believe that's what it's called, packs go away and they're replaced by something else, these pack points will not transfer. If you play gacha games and you're thinking this is a pity system that transfers, that's not what's happening here, right? This game doesn't have a true designated pity because it doesn't say, oh, let me just let you choose a certain thing. Like, it kind of has a, it's like almost pity, but it's not. But anyway, so these will expire. They're not going to transfer to the next banner, so you better make sure you're using them. One of the things I did and I kind of recommend doing is coming in here and getting 2 copies of Sabrina and Giovanni. These cards are pretty insane. Like, they are absolutely insane. And other cards that you can get, like red card, I believe it's called. There's a lot of cards that are like super good. As an aside, man, like, look at this. During the turn attacks used by your Pokemon do plus 10 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. That's such a minor number, but that's actually going to be the difference between getting a Pokemon off the board kind of often. It's kind of insane. I had matches kind of early where I was like, okay, I could just kind of stall this guy out. He can't do enough damage. Then all of a sudden there's a Giovanni popped up and I lose, right? And then Sabrina is freaking crazy too, because she just is one of the best control cards in the entire game. Switch out your opponent's active Pokemon. And again, if you're playing a deck that requires setup, she is absolutely your worst nightmare. She is absolutely your worst nightmare. Your opponent can choose, but okay, you'll still get the point for bouncing something off and then killing whatever they're trying to set up otherwise, right? Or something they weren't ready otherwise, right? So I would recommend getting those. Another thing that I personally did with these, because I never was realistically going to summon enough to get a super high rarity card, was I came in here, I got some of the other cards that would be vital to some of the decks I was building at lower rarities, right? So that's another thing you can do with these pack points. So let's circle back to when I was talking about how when you first start the game, you're greeted with these packs and you get the option to choose one of these 3. But before we dive into that, again, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you've made it this far into the video, it's clearly helping you. So make sure you subscribe. I greatly appreciate it, as well as hit that thumbs up. All right, so for your first pack out of these 3, you are guaranteed an EX depending on which pack you choose. It's not going to be a random EX, like you're not going to randomly get Moltres EX from the Charizard pack or anything like that. It's predetermined. So the Charizard pack will give you an Exeggutor, Mewtwo will give you Marowak, and Pikachu will give you Arcanine EX. So Marowak, in my opinion, is currently the best one. Exeggutor is next. Arcanine is usable. He's all right. He's just not great in comparison to the other 2, in my opinion, but go for what you want. So you'll get 4 cards that are kind of random, and then you'll get that guaranteed EX, one of those 3. Now, it does matter which pack you choose beyond just which EX you're going to get guaranteed, because each of the packs will guarantee you when you get to the point where they're explaining wonder picking to you, which we'll talk about as well in this video, it's going to present you the opportunity to wonder pick for a starter Pokemon that was associated with your pack. So choosing the pack does matter. So for example, with those, the Charizard pack will give you a Charmander starter Pokemon, Mewtwo will give you Bulbasaur, and Pikachu will give you Squirtle. The cool thing about their starter Pokemon is that they are full art versions, or alt art, whatever you want to call them, of those starter Pokemon. They're not just some random basic Pokemon, right? So let me just scroll to the bottom. I should have my Charmander way towards the bottom here. So I chose Exeggutor, and then I'll have Charmander in here somewhere. I'm not seeing him. He's hiding from me, right? He's hiding from me. I don't know where he is. I don't know where he is. All right, let me actually just sort it out. I guess that'd be better, so you guys can just see it, because I didn't see him at the bottom. He should have been towards the bottom. Let's go by rarity. No. Okay, well, that works, I guess. Rarity works. So you guys are gonna see my whole collection here. Where are you at, Charm? His bro is hiding from me. All right, we'll go by this. Let's go by type then, Charmander. There he is. Good lord, he was hiding from me. I didn't see him in there. So you get basically one of the 3 starters that looks like this, right? So that's cool. You can obviously get the others later. You can get more copies. I've got 3 Charmanders, for example. You can get more copies as you wonder pick and stuff like that, and they'll kind of show up for you. So anyway, choosing whichever one you want, it's not a huge deal. Like the starter, it kind of doesn't really matter all that much unless you're trying to build their decks, in which you do need to pull their evolution lines from the individual banners. They're all separated, so it is what it is. So after you've done, if you're just starting the game, after you have done that, you then have the option to largely just play the game. And I recommend playing the game, opening, 10 or so packs, and then making a decision as to whether or not you're going to reroll. Reroll is where you start the account anew and see if you get better cards the next time. You open your packs, I didn't really get anything worthwhile. Like I was looking for a crown rare, I didn't get it. The odds of getting that are pretty low, whatever. But I was looking for Moltres EX and Charizard EX together, so I can run that deck. But like, if you don't get them, you can come to the settings, you go to other, and you go to account, and then you go to delete save data, and then it'll just shoot you to the title screen, let it delete the data because you don't want the account anymore. And then you go from there and then keep doing that process. It's not a very long process. It takes maybe 15 minutes, but until you get something you like. Maybe you don't want to do that. I personally didn't do that, and that worked out pretty well in my favor long term, but you never know, right? So let's move on from that, and let's talk about the pack system just in general. So you get basically one of these packs every 12 hours. There's a premium pass here. Here's the fun thing about the premium pass. You can actually trial the premium pass for 2 weeks. So I have not spent a cent on this game. However, I did trial the premium pass for 2 weeks. Okay, so technically it's almost like I spent, but I didn't. You don't have to pay up front. It just lets you trial it. Then after the 2 week period, you can cancel your stuff and it's fine. You don't have to worry about it. It won't charge you. So I do actually recommend everybody kind of do that, to be honest, because what'll happen is you get the benefits from it. You get the extra shop, which is how I got that Pikachu. You get some mission rewards as well that you can get rewards from. And you can do a couple other exchanges in here, but you also get 2 new packs, the Delibird packs. So the Delibird packs actually have like their own little area right here. It would be a gold pack that has its own 24-hour timer. Tip on that is that I think that the timer starts from the moment that you sign up for that. So don't do it at some weird time where you're not gonna, be able to log in and open the pack. But otherwise, you get 2 packs a day. With the Delibird ones, you'll get 4 packs a day, and that does add up. Like the extra 2 adds up a ton, especially when you start trying to equate the shop prices to buy the tickets, or to buy the hourglasses, to do the summons, on the packs. It starts adding up. So again, I didn't spend anything individually, but it did make a huge difference by doing that, right? So I do recommend largely everybody do that because again, it's free. You can sign up for a couple of weeks and it is huge, right? So let's move from here and we'll talk about the hourglass system. So basically these can be, so like I said, you get 1 every 12 hours. So 24-hour period, you get 2 pack openings. So right now I've got 1 and I've got another one that's halfway done. So if I were to try to open 2 packs, it would greet me with the option to use hourglasses. And these are 1 hour each. So I've got 63 hours total I can use. But basically, I'll show you, I guess, live in the video because I'm trying to get Moltres EX. I've got some crazy stuff in my account, but I can't pull Moltres EX for the life of me. It's hilarious. I pulled double crown rare Mewtwo's in 1 pack, and I can't pull Moltres EX to save my freaking life. By the way, choosing this doesn't matter. Just like any other gacha game, it's largely already determined what you get. As soon as you press the, so we're getting something here. As soon as you press the pull button, it's already determined. All right, so getting a 1-star on the second card, I think is a pretty rare pull. But I'm still looking for that Moltres, man. I keep getting that Pinsir too. I think I've got 3 of these, right? It doesn't show here. I think I've got 3 of these. So I'll show you what happens when you try to open a pack when you didn't have enough hours. So it's gonna ask me to use 6 hourglasses. But the cool thing is the time will go over. It's not gonna just waste that 19 minutes. It will apply the 19 minutes to the next pack, right? So I'll show you that after we're done with this. But again, I mean, if you want to do the wheel and then pick one, you can do that, but it doesn't matter. All right, let's see if we get anything here. Blaine, okay, fun card if you're gonna run those decks. And oh, we pulled some good stuff, but I swear for the life of me, I can't pull the one Pokemon I really want. That's a nice looking Alakazam though. I initially was using Alakazam a good bit before I got my Mewtwo and all that stuff built up. All right, So like I said, it does apply that time. So you guys are going to see that it's now at 11 hours and 40 minutes instead of 12 hours. So, or I guess it would be 11:59 probably. But yeah, keep that in mind. That's one of the cool things about the hourglasses. So hourglasses, to get packs to open, you are going to basically be getting those from multiple locations. Firstly, you're going to get them from the daily shop. You can come here and you can exchange these tickets, these shop tickets, for hourglass packs. Now, the shop tickets are a little bit different. You basically get these from things. So anytime you wonder pick or you battle somebody, the game gives you the option to thanks somebody, to send thanks. You should largely always do that. There's no reason to do that. I don't care how salty you are. There's no reason not to give thanks, just because it's beneficial to everybody if everyone just gives thanks. So that's how you get these basically. So you can come in here and you can exchange for them here. You also will get packs from completing the PvE battles, right? And you also get those hourglasses from completing the solo battles. And you can also, by the way, get the shop tickets from here too by completing these missions. It's just the thing is that this is not an infinite resource. Like, you can't do this indefinitely. They will, once you completed it, not be available to you anymore. You also, for the record, on a side note, can get some awesome rewards. So I do recommend completing the tutorial. Guide is where it is, I believe. Yeah, completing guide will give you some of these fun stuff. I just haven't personally done it, but you can get some fun stuff here. So complete all the tutorial, get all these extra cards and stuff. That's worthwhile. I just haven't done it. So eventually I will, but do it for sure. But back to the hourglasses, you can get them from solo battles. You also primarily, I think, get them from online battles, and that is it. Okay, well, that's mostly it. You'll get them from the everyday mission reward completion as well. So when we come here, we go to missions. You get 4 hourglasses here by completing these. It's very simple, very easy to do. It doesn't really require much. You get 4 hourglasses here. So there's that. There's some other missions that'll be here for beginner accounts. They'll also give you them as well. So it's one of the things though that, like, they're pretty easy to get up front, but then after a while it kind of gets hard to get them, as you probably experienced in other gacha games. So don't worry about it too much, but just keep that in mind. But again, I do think that you get them from battling. So I haven't battled personally in about a week and a half. I've largely just been collecting after a while. So don't quote me on that. But you can also get them by leveling up. You level up your account by... No. That's what it is. That's what it is. You get them by leveling up. And so battling and opening packs gives you experience, is what it is. So the only way to level your account up is by battling or by doing pack openings. So if you buy a bunch of packs, you'll level your pack. You'll level up here, and you'll get more pack hourglasses back. So it's funny. But regardless, that's how you do it. So I was like, I know it's something to do with leveling up. All right, so yeah, battling, again, gives you experience, but the only way to get experience otherwise, if it wasn't clear, was by opening packs. And by leveling up, say I hit level 18, for example, with the experience I get from battling, which I think is only 15 at a time, I will then get 12 hourglasses. So that's what it was a very roundabout way to say it, but that's what I meant to say. So hopefully that was clear. All right, so if it wasn't clear, feel free to rewind it, because I feel like I explained. All right. So let's go to wonder picking. So a fun couple of things about wonder picking is a couple of the icons. So you may have noticed it, but there's a little binder icon in the corner of these cards that you already own. Also, if there's a card that you, by the way, you can get Japanese cards, which is fun. But if there's a card you don't have that you want to have, wait a minute, where'd it go? Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I'll just say these are all ones, right? The way I typically discern if it's a good wonder pick is how much it costs. If it's a one, then it's like I just kind of skip past it because I don't really need much. But you can get like Sabrina here or the other cards if you wanted to try it. But you also will sometimes find something you're really looking for. So like I was going to say, if there's a card you really want, you can put a wish list heart on it. So anytime it pops up, a big heart will show on that card as you're scrolling. So you know that a card you're looking for has shown up, right? And basically you want to be checking this every couple of hours. I think it's every 2 hours that this resets. Some of these are going to expire in an hour, so I guess every hour on the hour, pretty much, it's going to refresh with new packs in here. And these are packs that your friends have opened, people you have literally friend requested in the game and added, or random people that just play the game. It's just a randomized thing. So that's another incentive to add friends in the game. And ultimately, these are some packs they got, and you've got a 1 in 5 chance to get something that, well, you will guaranteed get something. But if you choose this, like I am going to for right now, you have a 1 in 5 chance of getting something you want, right? So we'll see if I can get that Moltres, because I have not been able to get a Moltres. I don't feel good about it. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I have been wanting a Moltres so bad. I barely got a Zapdos. I have been wanting to collect these so bad, man. I finally have one, and I need another one. But I'll be happy with my one for now. Oh yeah, so there's the thanks, and I'll send Every in a little friend request as well. Yes, every now and again you get an awesome wonder pick. A lot of times it's pain, but every now and again you'll get an awesome one. So in order to wonder pick, you do have to have the stamina for it. These refresh every, I think, 12 hours you get one. So it's a very kind of like simple system. You can also use, there's a separate resource you can use to recharge it automatically, or instantly I should say. You can do that if you wanted to do that. It's another resource you get, I think, more of when you sign up for the premium pass as well. So there's kind of a lot to it, right? There's kind of a lot. So that is pretty much everything that you need to know about this game. We talked about the copies of cards you can have in your deck. By the way, I guess I should show you this. If you've got more than 2 copies of a card, it's not going to be able to be used in your deck. That can't be changed. But what can happen is if you've got a couple of copies of it, you can use it for a flare. And so flares are just basically shine effects. As you see, a sparkle is on there. There are other flares you can put on them. So that's kind of like what happens when you pull too many copies of the same cards over and over. You can do that if you want to, but I didn't really talk much about that. But there is, to be fair, there is a mission that says like obtain a flare or something like that. So that's how you can do that when you're starting out. I guess we'll do one here. Let's put this on Psyduck because I have the extra 3 copies. I couldn't do it on the other one because I only had 3 total. So there's a flare for Psyduck. There are other flares as well that I've seen. But yeah, Psyduck will now be a sparkly card anytime I try to play it. Okay, here are the other ones, right? This one's kind of cool. So like that's kind of the basically cosmetic for extra copies of these. So okay, that was kind of cool too. When you play it, it does that little effect. I like that. That's kind of fun. But like trying to put these on a high rarity card, oh my god. Like that's kind of crazy. Where's my Mewtwo? I've got 2 Mewtwo's, and I want to see the cost on the Mewtwo. I got 2. Where's it at? What does it look like? It's 3, right? It's still 3 regardless. Oh, they actually only want 1. They just want a lot of shine dust. Goodness, they want a lot of shine dust. What is this? Special shop tickets. I've never tried to do this. That's interesting. But they want a lot of shine dust. You get shine dust from doing pack openings, leveling up and stuff. They want a lot of shine dust. I didn't realize it was okay, so I thought it was 3 still. So more you know, right? But we talked about the cards and stuff in your deck. I talked about how you guys should be trying to get 2 copies of Blaine and Sabrina. Also, quick tip on just trainers, supporters, items, blah blah blah. All of them are really good, and you can actually come here as well. I didn't scroll down enough. You can scroll down here and get some of these copies here as well if you wanted to do that. If you wanted to, if for whatever reason, if you wanted to flare these cards, you can also get extra copies of them. Here's that special shop that we saw with Mewtwo, by the way. So there's that. We talked about the fact that you should get 2 Blaines and Sabrinas. We talked about using your hourglasses, how that system works, how the pack system works, how the hourglass doesn't waste any time, if you were wondering. We talked about the first packs and how Mewtwo, Charizard, and Pikachu each offer a different EX. And then also, when it's time to do your first Wonder Pick, you are guaranteed a starter Pokemon between Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle, with Pikachu having Squirtle, Charmander being with Charizard, and Mewtwo having Bulbasaur. We also talked about how re-rolling works very briefly. We talked about giving thanks and the benefits of that, as you guys kind of saw as well. Also, we talked about the Premium Pass and how I recommend everybody using that because I do think that you should. The only trick is that you will need to add a payment method, but it won't charge you. You can cancel it if you want to, and then still get the 2 weeks free benefit, extra packs, etc. So I do recommend it. Like I said, I see no drawbacks personally, unless you just simply don't want to add a payment method. I talked about how you should do all of your CPU PvE battles to get the rewards associated with them, whether that was the tutorial, whether that was just individual battles versus the computer. You should do them. They give awesome first-time rewards. One thing I didn't really talk as much about is trial decks. If you need to use trial decks, you can also do that. The game does have a trial deck function. I'm not really seeing it here. You have to go to the battle page and you can use a predetermined trial deck. In order to get more trial decks, you complete some missions, or I believe if you get the primary EX for a trial deck, they'll give you the whole deck overall to just test it out. But you can use a trial deck in a battle if you wanted to do that. So we're going to go here, hit trial as well, a rental deck, right? And then you can kind of just use a deck, right? So you can do this as well if you don't have all the cards, because sometimes these missions will say use fire Pokemon or whatever. And if you're just starting out, you probably don't have that, right? But we talked about that now. We talked about Wonder Picks. We talked about the icons associated with Wonder Picks. We had a lot of information in this video. So once again, if you guys enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe, hit that thumbs up. If you want to see the awesome pulls I showed you in this video when they first took place, like my Charizard EX, my first big boy that I pulled, I have an awesome YouTube video that's clickable on the screen right now that you guys can check out before you go.